A few days ago, OpenAI quietly released a new feature for GPT-4 Omni, interactive tables and charts. If you thought data analysis was just for work, au contraire, I am going to show you 3 real-life use cases for you to use this new feature so you can finally start excelling at life and stop falling behind. I'm also going to show you one neat little trick that just might blow your mind. Let's do this. Hey there, it is I versus AI. In order to start your data analysis journey with ChatGPT, you're going to need some data. OpenAI's blog post shows us all of the neat little charts that you can make that are now interactive. But the first thing I wanted to point out is that these new features are only available for ChatGPT Plus, Team, and Enterprise users. I'm going to show you many different types of charts that you can make. But as far as the interactiveness that you can get in the ChatGPT window, that's only available with bar, line, pie, and scatterplot charts. So first, let's get some of that data into the ChatGPT window. And you'd be surprised at how much data you have available in your life that you have access to. Once you make sure that you are on ChatGPT-4 Omni, you're going to want to click down here on this paperclip icon, which will show you this new menu. You can now upload from Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive for personal or for business. You can click right here on this Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, and you'll be presented with a sign-up screen. Or you can head to Connected Apps in the Settings menu, where you can add your Google Drive or your Microsoft OneDrive accounts here. To show you how interactive tables and charts start, I'm going to use the I versus AI channel's YouTube data. Now, you could give a long, complicated prompt here if you wanted to, but I recommend just uploading the data. This will make sure that it can see all the data, and it will go ahead and tell you what's in that data and then make some suggestions on what you can do next. The first thing that you're going to see is this cool new interactive table. ChatGPT will give you an idea of what is in the table, and it will ask you for some specific analysis or information. Here is the next new feature, suggestions. For every prompt that ChatGPT outputs, it'll give you 2 suggestions of what you can do next. So you could just click around on these suggestions and it will take you down a very fun little rabbit hole on all the things that you can learn about this data. There are 3 little buttons here. I'm going to click on this expand table button, and that's going to take you to this larger view. This is where you're going to spend most of your time when you're doing data analysis work in ChatGPT. Let's take a look at the top section here of this table. If your Google Sheet or Excel file, Excel spreadsheet contains more than one sheet in that file, like this one does, table data, chart data, and totals, which you can see reflected down here on the Google Sheet, you'll be able to click on any one of these sheets, like chart data, and it'll take you directly to that sheet. Here's totals as well, too. Now, for reasons I don't understand, both of these sheets have no actual values in them. Everything is 0. So they're not very useful. You can actually ask ChatGPT to make changes to the table. But first, before we do that, let me show you the rest of these buttons. This button will open up in Google Sheets your same exact data here. And this button here will allow you to download this table as a CSV file. You can then open it up in Google Excel or any other spreadsheet program. When conducting data analysis, you want that data to be clean. Clean means that it's only the data necessary to do the analysis. When a database is not got neat values and all of the cells filled out with values you want to use, it's referred to as dirty data. You can actually ask ChatGPT to simply clean your database. Later on, I'll show you an example of a very dirty database that ChatGPT will clean for us. But for now, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to delete the chart data sheets and the totals sheets here. You can also select rows and columns and ask ChatGPT to work with those. For example, I would like to see the videos that had the highest click-through rate. So I'm going to click on this column here, which will then highlight the column down here. Please sort this column by highest to lowest click-through rate. And that is now sorted by highest through lowest click-through rate. So now we can start to analyze this data. One of the best ways to ask ChatGPT to start analyzing data is just to ask it what charts and graphs it recommends that we look at first.
Here are several charts and graphs that could be insightful based on the data available in your table.
Let's do a bar chart highlighting the top 5 or 10 videos with the highest click-through rate. It gives us this bar chart, and this is not an interactive chart. This is a standard chart. When this happens, you can say maybe try and make it interactive, but I have found that arguing with GPT-4 Omni is an exercise in futility. In that case, you can go ahead and just use this chart, which looks great as it is, and you can make changes to this chart. I'll show you how in a moment, but let's see if we can get an interactive chart. Can you give me a bar chart comparing the number of subscribers gained for each video against the number of views? There we go. There is an interactive bar chart. The way you can tell it's interactive, besides that cool animation that just happened, is you'll get these 4 buttons up here in the top. From the left, this button here will change it to a static chart, which looks very similar to the type of chart we just got earlier. The next button over will allow you to change the colors. This is really cool. I love that you can pick out a color or you can put the hex code in of any color. I'm going to choose this pink for views, and for subscribers, I'm going to go with this blue. Now, that's not the only way that you can change the colors of a chart. I'm going to show you another way. That's the trick that I promised earlier would blow your mind. At least it absolutely blew mine when I realized you could do it. So I'm looking forward to showing you that. But first, let me show you a few more interactive charts. This is an interactive scatter plot. Again, you can change the colors. Here's a yellow, there's a teal, and there's a green. The X and Y axis of the chart, the plot, will always be displayed up here. Uploading data does not have to just be numbers. It can also be words. Let's say that you had a dream journal, for example, and you wanted to see the themes in your dreams over a period of time. You could upload those words directly into ChatGPT by copying and pasting them, but what if you have handwritten them into a real journal? That's where the Omni part of GPT-4 Omni comes in, because it can take a picture and turn those pictures into words. Let me show you. You can upload 10, I believe it is, images at a time. Here's 9 images that it had no problem working through. If your handwriting is very messy or it's hard to see, the lighting isn't very good, you're not going to get an exact one-to-one transcription from your image to text. I did check, and ChatGPT did a really good job getting most of these words correct. I created a new chat and gave ChatGPT the following prompt. Please analyze the following journal entries and then create a word cloud visualization. Make the visualization at least 1920 by 1080. Ensure that you follow these instructions for making the word cloud. I'm going to give you this prompt down below. It'll be a paste bin link. Then I just gave it all of the journal entries, and this is what I got. This is so cool. I love these word clouds. I could see something like writing a manifestation journal or an affirmations journal or a gratitude journal that you kept over a period of a month. And then at the end of every month, you had ChatGPT create a word cloud for you that showed you all of the things that happened that you could be most grateful for. That could be so inspiring. I think I'm going to do that one myself. But here comes the fun part. Let's say that you don't really like the colors that ChatGPT chose. And you can ask ChatGPT to change up the colors in a variety of different ways. You can ask for softer colors. You can ask for pastel colors. You can ask for autumn colors. But my favorite way to ask for colors, and this is the thing that I think might just blow your mind. This is design seeds. I love design seeds. It is just years and years and years of nothing but pretty color palettes. I grabbed a few palettes, including this pretty palette here, Chilled Hues, and I thought to myself, I wonder if ChatGPT It can see images, but can it actually see what exactly the colors are in the image? So I decided to try it. Please use the colors from the color palette image I have uploaded for the word cloud. And to my deep delight, it was able to do it. Now, I want you to just stop and think about this for a minute. ChatGPT can see the colors in an image, but in order to create a word cloud, it's got to translate those colors into actual code, which creates the cloud. And it is able to do that. I don't even know how it is able to do that, but it is. So I decided to experiment. There's a lot of white space in this image, and I wanted all of the image to be filled with words. So I gave it a new color palette, asked it to fill in all of the white spaces with words, and this is what I got. I love this use case. This is so cool. I think this is something that's beautiful enough to be hung on a wall as an inspiration piece over your desk. This is just I love them. But that's not all. You can actually ask it to change the font from a sans serif to a serif font, which I did here. I also uploaded a color of the background. I basically just took a screenshot of the same background color here that I'm highlighting. I just took a screenshot of that dark gray background color and asked it to change the word cloud to that background color. So it can change the background as well too. There are more things that you can do with word clouds, including making a word cloud in a certain shape like this fruit shape, or even the shape of a person. And you're not limited to a 1920 by 1080 size with the word cloud. Try making it larger and see what you get. Once you are done with your word cloud, you can download it to desktop right here. My next example is social media analysis. This is the one area where I think you may not be aware of how much data you have available about your social media habits at your fingertips. You can download data from Twitter, you can download data from TikTok, but in this example, I'm going to show you how I extracted a list of the posts that I have saved on Reddit. There's a lot of great information on Reddit, and I love to stalk all of the subreddits about AI and ChatGPT, and I've gotten a lot of good tips and tricks. I'll save each of those posts, but then getting those posts outside of Reddit and into something usable like ChatGPT or my Obsidian Vault can be a little bit more tedious. But this new interactive tables and charts has solved that problem. In order to get my data out, I'm going to head to Preferences, RSS feeds, and what I'm looking for here is this right here. When I click on this button, I'm going to get to a screen which looks like this. It's all of your saved posts JSON formatted. Now I am in Firefox doing this. This might look different in Chrome or Microsoft Edge. What you want to get to is this raw data here, which is going to give you a massive and rather frightening pile of complete gobbledygook. You want to copy this gobbledygook, and we're going to turn it into a CSV file that ChatGPT can easily read. I'm going to hit the copy button here. I'm going to paste that information right here into this box. This is convert JSON to CSV. I'm going to put a link to this in the description. And you will see that we now have this neat table. This is what we're looking for. I'm going to download the entire CSV and then upload it into a fresh ChatGPT-4 Omni conversation. And then ChatGPT will tell you, as always, what the data set, the table, consists of. And I want you to pay particular attention to this. It has a large number of columns and various types of data. Earlier, I talked to you about dirty data. This is dirty data. There's a lot of empty columns that isn't needed at all. So first of all, let's ask ChatGPT to clean this up. Cleaning the data reduced the number of columns from 184, wow, to just 45. Much more manageable. Now you can ask for the same type of visualizations that I've already shown you, but also you can start learning what visualizations you can do, what charts and graphs that ChatGPT can create. This is the Matplot library. This shows all of the different plots that are available, and each of these plots are directly recreatable right in ChatGPT. If there is a plot that you are curious about, like for example, this box plot with custom fill colors, and you want to see this exact same plot in ChatGPT, just hover over this code here, click copy, upload it right to ChatGPT and ask it to recreate this plot and show it to you. And you can do that for any of these charts. For example, this pie chart. This means that you can get an idea of the cool things that you can do. You're not just limited to the 4 interactive charts that OpenAI has given you. You can make any chart you would like. This is Seaborn. It is the other library that ChatGPT can use. I like Seaborn's charts a lot better. I just think they're prettier. For example, with this really cool looking plot here, that looks amazing. And that's a scatter plot heat map. I'm going to show you a cool trick with heat maps in our third example. But again, if you want to recreate this, simply hover over the code here and input it to ChatGPT and begin playing around. You'd be surprised at what you can do creatively with these charts just by asking ChatGPT to change it up, change the colors, change the size, and whatever else you can think of. One of the ways that you can play with charts like this is to simply take the chart. Let's use this grouped box plots chart. I'm going to copy the code. And I'm also going to download the image to give it as a reference point to ChatGPT. Then you can say something like, I would like for you to take the data set and I'd like you to give me the best suggestions on how I could visualize the data as a grouped box plot. I have uploaded an image of that and the code necessary to create that plot. How would the data I have be best visualized in this plot? And there you have a box plot, which shows the distribution of upvotes across subreddits. And again, it's using the same colors as the original plot that we saw on the Seaborn website. Okay, this next one is really fun. Visual habit tracking. You see a lot of habit trackers that people do. They put in apps, they put it in their bullet journals, and they also put it in their Notion dashboards. But now you can actually use that data of the habits that you're trying to build by visualizing your progress to further inspire you. In a recent video, I showed you how I'm creating my own personal Jarvis by using the new memory tool to create a daily dashboard. The dashboard tracks my tasks. It has an image which changes out of a set of different images, but most importantly, it has a water intake and sleep tracker. It also has an affirmation, inspirational quote, a place for notes, and then a happy little greeting. The way that I'm tracking my water and sleep intake is using the new memory tool. Clicking on Manage Memories shows that ChatGPT is tracking the water, using the date, which is important, and showing in a visual way, using simple markdown, how many glasses of water I've had. As I go through the day, I can then update this as I add more water in and just simply say, I had another glass of water, and ChatGPT will actually just update this exact memory and reflect the glasses of water that I've had for that day. But wouldn't it be cool if I could then, at the end of the month, have this visualized in such a way that I could see how well I was doing day to day with my habit tracker? Well, now you can. It's called a heat map. The idea came to me when I saw this really cool heat map on the Seaborn gallery that I've seen in so many people's bullet journals. So I thought to myself, I wonder if I could do the same thing with a heat map. And it turns out that I can. I uploaded the code, clicked here on copy, and put it right into ChatGPT. And then I explained to ChatGPT that I wanted it to give me a heat map of my sleep hours and my water intake. And then I simply explained to ChatGPT what I wanted. I said I wanted a sleep hours and water intake heat map. I wanted it to be where if I had 10 glasses of water or 10 hours of sleep, it would show up as dark orange. And if I hadn't had any sleep or any water that day, unlikely, it would show up as a blue and to show me a range of colors. And to organize it much like a calendar, I was able to change the font. I was able to change the background from white to dark. I asked it to remove the labels that you see on the side of the image here. And after some time, I had this really pretty heat map. There's no reason why you can't do this for any kind of habit tracking. And it's really cool to see a visual representation of your progress over time. With the end result of, if you're doing well, your heat map is mostly these orange colors. And if you're not drinking enough water the way I am, you get these whole blocks of blue, which let me know right away that I need to improve. I wanted to show you one more fun chart that I made. It's really cool, that allows you to think outside of the box with interactive charts and tables. When I was making this heat map, I asked ChatGPT to output the heat map like a calendar. So each box indicated a kind of days of the week, which it was able to do with 7 days of the week, just like a calendar layout. And I thought, I wonder if I could actually get ChatGPT to make a calendar for me that I could put on my daily dashboard that I just showed you. So at the top of my dashboard, I could have that month's calendar. And it was able to do so. All I did in order to give it that particular color scheme, I uploaded another color palette from Design Seeds, like I showed you earlier, and asked ChatGPT to use this color palette to make the calendar. This looks so cool. And with a little bit more time, you could get more specific on how you want this to be. Here are a few more cool things that I made playing around with the interactive charts feature of ChatGPT-4 Omni. Data visualization helps you see where you have progressed, but most importantly, how you have progressed over time. It's a powerful tool, and I encourage you to play around with it. I encourage you to learn how to use it in ChatGPT, because the first step of getting all of this up and running in your life is some sort of dashboard or central area where you can communicate with ChatGPT about what you want to accomplish and how you are trying to accomplish it. Anything from tracking your tasks all the way down to keeping notes to inspiring you with affirmations and quotes. That's why I built a personal Jarvis for myself, a dashboard that ChatGPT could greet me with every morning. I show you how I used ChatGPT's new memory tool to create my own personal Jarvis in this video on screen right now.